You're a high-performing executive, you've been dominating your career, working 80 hours a week, you have client dinners, you're traveling all the time, and now all of a sudden your health is finally caught up with you. If you're finally at a point where you're ready for your health and fitness to match the success of your career, just follow this roadmap. Nutrition is going to be the single greatest determinant of how your body and mind perform. As a busy executive, you have a ton of travel, crazy schedule, a family, and if you're tired, there's a good chance you're just going to order. You're going to go with what's convenient, so you need to make healthy convenient. The diet needs to be flexible. You can't have client dinners and events and be sitting there trying to track calories and figure out, oh, can I eat that, can I not? So how do we do that? Here's an easy 3-meal framework for you to keep your nutrition on point, and that's going to help with your body composition, workout performance, and anything work related. So to start off the day, usually you're going to be either coming from a workout ideally, but if not, there's still probably a hectic environment and you're rushing to get out the door and get to work. So we need something that's quick and convenient, and so that is going to be a smoothie. The beauty of the smoothie is, depending on your goals, you can drastically change what that smoothie looks like. So the first key is we want to make sure that it has protein in it. That protein is going to mitigate a blood sugar spike and ensure that you're getting optimal recovery and helping those muscles regrow from the training. From here, it's really based on your preferences. So you're gonna wanna pick the fruits that you like the most. Most people prefer variety, so pick different things based on what's in season. And then if you're trying to gain weight, you can add things like nut butters, chia seeds. If you're not, you're trying to lean out, then we wanna avoid heavier things like nut butters, and we wanna stay away from whole milk, push to lighter alternatives. You can use water, yogurt, and then fill it up with greens. So many people do not get enough micronutrients coming from vegetables, and that's really easy in a smoothie because we can either use a supplement, or our preference is whole food, and so you can just throw those leaves of spinach or kale and you won't even know they're there. It's gonna put volume in there, help you feel full, and again, it's a smoothie. So once it's made, you put it in your cup and you're off on your day. You can get in the car and drink it on the way to work, or you can just pack it and wait till you get to work. So no matter where you are, it's pretty easy to go to, name your favorite juice place and get an easy smoothie or make one yourself at home. Moving on from breakfast, lunch is gonna come around. So for many people, it's just meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and then we look up at the clock and go, it's 5 o'clock and I'm starving, I haven't had food, my head's starting to hurt. So avoid that and let's get some food in the middle of the day. Now we also wanna make sure that we're not having too much. A heavy meal is gonna kill our workflow. We're gonna focus on a low, light meal that is very low in carbohydrate. Carbs to absolutely avoid, like white potatoes, pasta, and rice. Those carbs are gonna cause a midday crash, and again, you're gonna sit there with the brain fog, and everything after 1 p.m. is kind of a wash for that day. So now that we have that figured out, we're avoiding those high GI carbs. Now we wanna focus on just getting a good source of protein and something that's gonna satiate. So this usually looks like a salad, and when I say salad, everybody starts rolling their eyes. I'm not talking about eating like a bird and having a little piece of iceberg lettuce. You should actually fill it up with as many vegetables as you like, chickpeas, beans, and then throw in a little piece of whatever protein you like. That can be something simple like grilled chicken or a lean piece of fish. The goal of this midday meal is just something small that keeps your energy up and prevents you from being starving at the end of the day. From here, we're gonna move on to dinner. Now, again, we're gonna keep a blanket guideline here that is high protein and high fiber. And the reason we're doing that is because you're more than likely gonna be in very different places Monday through Sunday. So if you're on travel, it still applies. If you're at home and you're cooking, it still applies. So high protein, we wanna start there, pick a good lean source. If you don't like meat, then you can look at dairy options. You can look at tofu. It's a little bit processed, but it's better than no protein. We can also look at more plant-based options like chickpeas. Fiber is gonna provide that satiety, so it's gonna make you feel full. If we can fill the plate up with protein and fiber, that doesn't leave a lot of room for kind of the quote-unquote bad stuff, like the bread and the high GI carbs that are gonna cause some of that weight gain. Doesn't mean you can't have any of it. We just want that to be the smallest portion of the plate. So start with protein, then move to fiber, and then you can kind of fill out the rest. If you're gonna have dessert, you're looking to have a bite or two, not a whole dessert or taste the whole menu. So an effective dinner, no matter where you are, think protein, think fiber, and then just minimize your portions elsewhere. If you can make this structure the foundation of your nutrition, you're gonna see better energy and you're gonna be able to focus for longer periods of time and much better results in the gym. As an executive, the foundations of a great exercise program is going to be 3 total body strength exercise days a week. There's a few important reasons that you need to be doing total body. The first and foremost is flexibility. So it happens all the time with our clients that we're supposed to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a meeting gets shifted or a last minute traveling comes in. And so now you have to pull that day out or move it. So total body workouts are going to check all the boxes and mitigate a chaotic schedule. So when we're implementing total body strength training, we want to try to pick movements that utilize as many muscle groups as possible, and we want to keep the pace moving and try not to rest for longer than 2 minutes in between any given sets. So here are a few of our favorite compound exercises. All right, so an easy way to pair these is if we take an upper body movement, pair it with a lower, and so we're going to do a really short rest in between and then a longer rest after we've done both movements. So here we're going to do the pull-up and the goblet squat. Easy, low equipment. We're going to start with the pull-up here. So Mark's going to go neutral grip, and we're going to try to stretch all the way out at the bottom, and then he's going to pull and make sure chin and chest get to the bar. Go ahead. And then a control tempo coming back down, full stretch and pull. Beautiful, one more. Good. As he comes down, based on your fitness level, you may need up to 30 seconds to rest before we jump into this squat. Mark's pretty fit, so we're going to go ahead and go right into the goblet squat. So here, we'll take the dumbbell in front, his back's flat as he picks it up, elbows come underneath here, and now he's got a really good brace in his core. Elbows again together and down, dumbbell is tight against his chest, feet are right outside, hip width, and slightly rotated out on the toes. He's gonna drop straight down, controlled tempo, just like the pull-up, go ahead. As low as he can comfortably, and straight back up. He's screwing his feet outwards, and he's driving down to the ground as hard as he can as he comes back up. You notice his torso, his spine are perfectly neutral, just keeping everything safe. And up. Good, go ahead and set that down. Now, after he's done a full set there, we'll take a longer rest, upwards of 2 minutes. We'll go back and do those same 2 exercises 2 more times. So our second pairing here is now going to be a hinge and a push pattern. So the first one, the hinge, is going to be single leg RDL. This is really good for hamstring and glute development. So what Mark's going to do here, he has 1 dumbbell. This should be on the lighter side. So I would start with 10 pounds max, and then once you feel comfortable, you can go up from there. He's going to start with both legs together, toes pointed straight. The side that is holding the dumbbell is going to go up and back. The other leg is going to stay down on the floor. So we're going to get a slight knee bend here on the right leg. You're going to lift into an airplane position, and you see pause there. So you see here in this position, he is not reaching for the floor with the left dumbbell. He's keeping his shoulder blades down and back. Now he's going to come back up. Ideally, you can keep that left foot off the ground entirely for the whole movement. So go ahead, go again. He goes back. Knee is slightly bent. He's pushing a lot of weight into this right hip, and then he comes back, pushes the hips forward. Good. So similar to our other circuit, we're going to do all of our reps of RDL. We're going to take a very short recovery, go into a second movement, and then rest longer. Good. So we repeat this on the other leg, and then we're going to move on to our upper body movement here. Good. All right. So you want to have a good pad so we can protect that knee. We're going to go down onto one knee. Doesn't matter which one you start on, you're going to do both. All right, so we're going to stack hip underneath the shoulder. He's going to take this dumbbell up, take the elbow into his rib cage and down. So you see his forearm is perfectly vertical. Left arm, the arm that's not working, is going straight out to the side. He's going to make a fist and create as much tension as he can in that left hand. Then he's going to brace his core. All right, so you're pulling your rib cage down and pushing your belly button in. This is just going to protect your lower back throughout the movement. The arm is staying neutral, so his palm is facing towards his head throughout the whole movement. Go ahead, drive through your front foot, press up and back down slow. So you see he's on a little mini arc. As he presses, it comes up, arcs back just a little bit, head comes through and back down. Perfect control. So we do all the reps on the right arm, switch to the left, and then we'll take a longer rest. The last key part of total body strength training is going to be hitting the core. So we want to make sure we're hitting it from all different directions, and we're focusing more on stabilizing than actively flexing. All right, so the 2 movements we're going to focus on here today is the Pallof press. So we need a small band, and we're going to start kneeling. So you'll see people doing this in a half kneeling position or even standing. This is just the easier place to start and really focus on your core. So he's on both knees. They're directly underneath his hips, nice and tall. and the band is level with his belly button. So I'm gonna have him grab this with his inside hand and make a fist, and then he's gonna wrap his right hand over that fist. So he's taking this straight from the midline, so right on his belly button. He's nice and tall, his shoulders are back, and then he's gonna brace that core and punch out slow and controlled, bring it back. We're gonna do 10 reps, and on the last rep, we're gonna hold for 10 seconds in the extended position. So we're at 3 here, we'll keep going. You see he's keeping his hips forward, they're not pushing back, and he's not letting that band pull him to the tower. Let's do 2 more. And on this last one, I want you to hold when you get to that extension position. Hold, and again, he's not letting the band pull him. He's keeping the shoulders down and back and bracing hard. Good? All right. Next, we would just spin around, and we'll do that same exercise coming from the left side. Now, exercise number 2, so we worked on our anti-rotation, and now we're gonna work in the frontal plane. So we're gonna go hands and knees, wrists are underneath the shoulder, knees underneath the hips. Same thing, we're working on the brace, so shoulder blades are down, belly button is up, and all he's gonna do is lift his knees about 1 inch off the floor and hover. So go ahead, push into the palms, he's hovering off the floor here, and he's bearing down as much as he can, trying to make his abs cramp. Now he's breathing in through the nose. For beginners, you're gonna wanna start around 20 seconds here and work your way all the way up to 1 minute plus if you're on the advanced side. And relax. As an executive, one of the most important parts of your exercise program is gonna be cardio. So we recommend twice a week getting in at least a half hour of zone 2 cardio. Now, in a pinch, because you're a busy executive, we know some days and some weeks are gonna get crazy and you're not gonna be able to work out 5-6 times in a week. It's just not realistic. And so what you can do is you can do that total body strength day at an elevated tempo, meaning going faster, slower rest periods, and that will check the box of both your cardio and your strength training. Now, on a good week, maybe it's a holiday week or it's slowed down, then it's awesome in between your strength training days to add that cardio in. So pick any implement in the gym. That could be a stair stepper like we have Mark doing here. It could be a treadmill, row machine, skier. You could go out for a hike, go for a run. Anything that excites you that you're gonna stick to. And you're gonna aim for 30 minutes continuous, and you wanna get zone 2. So if you have an Apple Watch, it will automatically show you what that heart rate zone is. If not, if you're not sure, aim for 115 to 135 heart rate. That's beats per minute, 115 to 135. And try to hold it for a half hour. If you can do that twice a week, that's gonna help speed up your recovery in between workouts, give you more energy, and just overall heart health is gonna be excellent. So the last piece of a perfect exercise program for an executive is gonna be mobility-focused Pilates and yoga. So kind of the opposite of everything we've been working on up to this point. Now we're gonna focus on stabilizer muscles and just flexibility, stretching, and slowing things down. So this is a great opportunity to take a class or use a sauna for hot yoga. And again, don't think about intensity so much here. It's more about great ranges of motion, small weights to even no weights. 30 minutes once a week is more than enough. Now that we have a good nutrition plan in place, there are going to be these times when you're either going on travel or you have a work event or dinner and you don't have the ability to necessarily follow that framework exactly. And so what we're gonna do on those days, if you know you have a big dinner that night, even if it's just because you wanna go out and celebrate, it doesn't have to be forced upon you, then we're gonna meal reduce on that day. All that means is instead of having your 3 meals and a snack or whatever your normal is, we're gonna remove one of those meals to account for the fact that we're gonna have a big dinner. What this allows us to do is instead of, again, being at dinner counting and worrying about what am I eating, you just remove the earlier meal and then you get to go to dinner kind of open-minded and just enjoy the meal. The average executive spends 22 days a year traveling. This means twice a month, you're either getting on a plane, getting in a car for an extended period of time. What this is gonna do is shorten your hip flexors, causing low back pain. You get tightness in the traps in the neck, and we can mitigate all this by just doing 5 minutes of mobility work every time you travel. So here's one of our go-to circuits for executives that are traveling frequently. So what I'm gonna have Mark do here is we're gonna start with our feet together, and as we're going through this, we're gonna start slow, and we'll slowly get more dynamic with each rep. So we're gonna start with just a regular toe touch. He's gonna keep his knees locked out, reach for the floor, and at the bottom, go ahead, you can go reach for the floor, tuck the chin, and then slowly come back up. Now, as he feels his lower back loosen up, go ahead and keep going. He can move a little bit more dynamically, a little faster, just to comfort. Tuck the chin at the bottom and all the way back up. Keep going, we got 4 there, so we're gonna do 6 more reps, and now you see he's easily touching the floor, and so he's gonna go from using his fingertips to now he's using his knuckles. If the knuckles get too easy, we're gonna go with the palms. And you still see every time he's controlled, he's tucking his chin at the bottom, and there's no bend in the knee back here. 1 more rep. And I'm gonna have you hold at the bottom on this rep. And we're gonna walk ourselves out to push-up position, keeping your wrists right underneath the shoulders. We'll level out. And now we're gonna take our right foot and step to our right pinky. And the higher we can get, the better. And we wanna get right inside on that pinky. And then the back leg here, we're gonna straighten all the way out, push the palms into the floor, and bring our chest up big. All right, so now we should feel a stretch in this hip flexor, and you might feel a little stretch on the groin on this right leg as well. So from this position, we're gonna take our right elbow, take it to the instep of our right foot, and then open up nice and tall, reach for the ceiling. Eyes are gonna follow your hand up and back. And we're gonna do 5 reps. So in and open big. So we're opening up the hips, and we're also opening the thoracic spine here. So we'll take some of the tension out of the neck and traps. Got 2 more reps here. And on the last one, we'll come back to palms flat, step the feet back together. We're back in this perfect push-up position. Shoulders are right over the wrists, hips in line, and now we're gonna step left foot to left pinky. Same thing, back leg is straight, palms are pushed into the floor, chest up big, and we're gonna go left elbow to the instep and open up. Good, and you see he's taking his time, big breaths. All we're doing here is trying to relax our muscles. We just spent hours sitting on a plane, sitting in a car. 2 more reps. And good, on this last one, we'll go palms down, step back to push-up position, and we're just gonna lower down slowly to our knees. And now, this next one, very common exercise, cat-cow. So now we're focused on really trying to loosen up the flexion and extension of this this is called your thoracic spine, and this is gonna run right in between the shoulder blades to your mid-back. So again, he's got his palms right underneath his shoulders, knees are right underneath the hips, toes down on the floor. He's gonna push into his palms and arch his upper back as big as he can and crunch his abs. Go ahead. All right, now I want you to push away from the floor, arch as big as you can, arch, 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 and pause. You see we have this nice big curve over the top. He's tucked his chin down and we're lengthening that spine. Now we're gonna go back the other way, pulling the shoulder blades down, and he's gonna look up to the ceiling, and we're getting that curve the other direction. So nice and slow, brace, push in, and exhale all your air out, and go the other direction. Shoulder blades down. Good, we're gonna do 3 more reps, just like that. Push into the palm, big breath in, fill, 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 and exhale, pull yourself down, eyes come up. 2 more reps. And last rep. Good, now we're just gonna pause here, and we're gonna push into the toes, and you're gonna go straight to downward facing dog. So now he's gonna drive into the palms, hips are gonna go up and back, and he's pushing as far back as he can comfortably and holding. 10 seconds in this position. Now we're getting a stretch in the lats. You're gonna feel a little bit in the upper back, and then a bunch. We're putting a lot of stress into the hamstrings, calves, Achilles. Again, we've been sitting, so we're just getting everything lengthened back out. And go for it, walk the hands, and then bend when you need to, and back up to standing. Great. We're gonna do that circuit twice. If you do 5 to 10 reps of each exercise and you take it 2 times through, 5 minutes and you're done, move on with your day. So when you get to your new time zone, the best thing you can do is to start this workout the morning of that new time zone. So if you land in London and it's 9 p.m., if you can just push off until whenever you wake up even if it's 4 in the morning, if you can do a quick 30-minute workout of the morning of your new time zone. So one of the easiest things we can do is just jump right onto a treadmill, pick a comfortable walk speed. Usually that's around 4 on most treadmills. And then based on your heart rate. So you can either, if you don't have a heart rate monitor, you can use these little silver handles on most treadmills, or if you have a watch. And all you're gonna do is try to get your heart rate up to about 130 based on incline and keeping that speed at 4. So as you can see, Mark's just checking his heart rate, and we are at 118. So we know at 118 we want it to be a little bit harder. So what I'm gonna have him do is I'm gonna crank the incline up by 2.5. So we'll go ahead and go up. And now instead of flat, we're still at speed 4, and now we're at incline 2.5. After a minute goes by, I'm gonna check his heart rate again. If it hits that 130, we're just gonna stay there. All right, so now we have the incline up to 5, and his heart rate is at about 133. So now the goal is just to accumulate about a half hour at this time. Now, if this is too boring for you, you can switch. You can jump to an elliptical, go to the stair step, or try a rower, or you can just go to bodyweight exercise, squats, push-ups, abs, anything that you enjoy. Just get the body moving and some blood flow for about a half hour. All right, now that we have the perfect exercise program built, it doesn't mean anything if we can't stick to it consistently. So here are a few easy ways to stay consistent on the routine. First is to move that workout to the morning. This is before 9 a.m. You have a crazy schedule, and the moment that that ball gets rolling, who knows what's gonna pop up and what you're gonna have to shift for. So morning workout is gonna ensure that it gets done, and you're gonna start your day off on a good note. It's about you, it's an hour for you to get your mind focused and to get energized for the rest of the day. Once you've moved that workout to the morning, almost certainly you're gonna have a day where you stay up too late, or someone brought you a project at the last minute and you didn't get a lot of sleep and you don't feel like waking up for that workout. Now it's time to have a good accountability partner. So this is a spouse, a friend, a training partner, or you can get a personal trainer. This is for that day that comes when you don't want to go and you end up going anyway, and you push yourself a little harder than you would have if it was just you. One of the last tangible things you can put into place to help with your consistency is to actually schedule those workouts on a calendar. So many of us as executives live and die by our calendar. So just taking the time to throw in that literal workout block time is going to increase your adherence. With our clients, we see a 60% increase in their adherence when they do that. Now that you're fueling your body correctly and we're exercising consistently and effectively, now we have to talk about recovery. The biggest building block of recovery is going to be sleep. It's simple, but it's still true. 7 hours plus a night is mandatory. If you're having trouble hitting this, focus on 3 things. Temperature, try to get it cold below 70 degrees. Timing, try to go to bed within a 15-minute window every night. Sometimes it's not realistic, but do the best you can. The closer your sleep-wake time is day to day, the better your quality of sleep is going to be. And the third thing is darkness. You want to make sure there are no blinking lights and get the room to be as dark as possible. Caffeine can be a great tool to improve your performance, but if you're not careful, it can kill your recovery. So here's what we need to think about. The biggest thing is timing. We don't want to consume caffeine after 1 p.m. As it pertains to sleep, caffeine has a 5-hour half-life. And what that means is if we ingest 100 milligrams of caffeine, which is about the amount of a small cup of black coffee, 5 hours later, half of that caffeine is still in our system. And then another 5 hours from that, 25%. So if you were to drink at 1 o'clock 100 milligrams, 10 hours later, you still have 25 milligrams of caffeine in your system. This obviously differs based upon your metabolism and your tolerance to caffeine. But in general, if we cut it off by 1, we shouldn't see an effect on our sleep quality. The last thing to be mindful of when we're talking about recovery is alcohol. You're gonna have a ton of opportunities where, again, you're at a client dinner or you feel obligated to share a drink. And here's the problem. Alcohol kills deep and REM sleep, which, as we just talked about, is one of the most important pieces of our recovery. And part 2 is it inhibits fat loss. So if we're already trying and working hard, changing our diet and exercising to lose weight, but we're just carrying with a bunch of alcohol, we're really at odds with each other, making that goal harder to attain. And the last piece is, as an executive, your whole job is based around your ability to make critical decisions. So if the next day you're even 10% worse at making those decisions because you decided to go out and drink, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So at the end of the day, we have to be realistic, and I'm not telling you to never have a drink, but try to be strategic and avoid nights before you have big decision making or meetings and you need to be at your best, and definitely avoid nights before big workouts. Now we've put all this time into building out a nutrition plan and an exercise plan, and we're starting to think about how we can recover better in sleep. But how do we know that this is working or not? We have to track. So just like in your business, you have your KPIs to determine, is this business growing or not? We need basic, simple things we can measure to see your progress. So here's 3 really easy ones. The first one is step count. If we can keep that above 8,000, we know we're doing enough to help with your cardiovascular health and weight loss. Number 2 is heart rate recovery. The way we measure this is when we get to the peak of a workout, once we finish the hardest set, we start a clock for 1 minute. The difference between your heart rate at the start of that minute and the end, that differential is called your heart rate recovery. Why do we care? This is an excellent measure of your cardiovascular health, but also if you come in, say you just went on a big business trip or you didn't get a lot of sleep, instead of us guessing how your body's feeling, if we get to that set early on and we see that your heart rate is actually staying higher and not coming down as far, we'll pull back that workout to make sure that it's safe and you're not more prone to injuring yourself. The last one is the easiest, and some people can be a little reluctant to, is weighing in every single day. So if you have trouble looking at your weight, then just have it saved to an app. There's plenty of apps out there where you'll step on it. You don't even have to look on it and it will share. We have this data that's sent directly to us and the client doesn't even see. Then what we're gonna do is over a 7-day period, instead of looking at any single day, you're gonna take the average of the week, and that is your number week to week that shows, A, if you're on a body composition goal, if you're trying to lose weight, we know over time, are we trending that direction? And 2, if we see any drastic highs or lows, we can stop and say, did you eat something really salty or heavy? Or if it goes down the other way, are you hydrated properly? Or what's going on here? Are you super stressed that your body weight just went down 4 pounds in a 48-hour period? So this is an excellent tool to track results and make sure that we're giving you effective and safe workouts. If you've made it to this point and you're ready to make a change, it doesn't have to be all at once. Pick one of the things we talked about. If you can do it for a week, add another, then add another, and add another. If your personality type is anything like you are in your career, this is gonna take no time and you'll be unrecognizable within the year. If you wanna delegate out the legwork, check us out at Exus.life.